Hello, Nana Peggy here, and today's sewing tutorial is a hobo bag. So I want to show you, I've already cut out my pieces. This has to be cut on the fold. As you can see with this one was cut on the fold. So you will cut 2 pieces of your lining for the hobo bag, and my outer bag is going to be denim. And I have cut my 2 pieces of denim. And again, you can see because these pants that I got for $6 at the thrift store is really pressed nice. It was on the fold. So we're only going to sew one side seam of our lining. And we will also only sew one side seam of our denim. Now I'm going to be using 2 different sewing machines. One I have set up for my denim because the denim has to have the heavier needle. Uh, it, if you don't, you'll just break your needle. And my cotton fabric has to have the medium weight needle. So instead of just taking needles out and exchanging them, I'm just going to use 2 different sewing machines. Okay, I put me a sticky note at 3/8 of an inch, so that'll be my guide because a lot of you do not have a little guide. And this is, as I say, use what you have. And I'm going to go down one side seam on my lining. My pocket that I've cut out is an 8 by 10, and I I have decided that I want to put some interfacing in it because if I put my keys in there or my cell phone or my little coin purse, then it needs some stability to it. So I'm going to put some interfacing in mine. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm going to press open this seam right here, get it flat. And then I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to measure down about 2.5 inches from this seam. And I'm going to take my fabric marker pen that will erase when it gets heat and draw me a line. On this side, where's 2.5? There we go. Okay. Now here's our pocket, and I have pressed the side seams in about 1/3 of an inch, and the top one I will press down again. And then I'm going to the sewing machine and sew across here, and then we'll place our pocket on our lining. So I'll be right back. I folded my pocket in half and got my crease, and then I placed it where this line is, right at the top, and then where this seam is in the middle of this, both the top and the bottom. And so what we're going to do is we will sew around and then sew up the middle. Okay, we have our sides sewn together, and then we are going to pull it like this, where our seams are. And you can just finger press this one a few minutes. And we are going to match this seam. And so what we're going to do is we're not going to sew this corner here. We're just going to start about right in here, and we're going to go to here and stop, and then we will do the same here. We will leave a space because this is where we are going to turn our purse in a little bit, our hobo purse. Okay, we've got that seam pressed, and as we seen earlier, we have our little square here that we cut out. So now we're going to take our square and we're going to open it up, and we're going to take that edge and put right there. And we're going to pull this out, and we're going to press that. And then we will sew 3/8 of an inch on this side and 3/8 of an inch on this side. Okay, this is my denim, and again, I need to remind you, with denim, you have to have a heavier needle. And so just like the lining, I sew down the sides, and so then we must press open our seam. Now we are going to match our seams, and the only difference between the lining and our denim, which is the outside, is we will not leave an opening here to turn. We're going to sew from this end to this end, and we're not going to leave an opening. Okay, we got our seam pressed open, and with denim it is very difficult, these pieces right here, but we got them. And again, just like on our lining, we have our corner, and we're going to take right there, we're going to bring it to the center. That's the center of where our seam is, and we're going to pin it in place and press it. Watch your fingers. Again, here's our corner, there's the center. We're going right there to the middle of our seam. And press. Now I will go to the sewing machine and sew our 3/8 of an inch seam, and then we'll be back to wrap it up. So now we have right sides together, and we are going to match our seams right here on each side. And then we are going to pin all the way around. Till we get up to here. So this I can show you on this side. This side, which is the outside, we're going to sew all the way up. The inside, we are going to leave and not sew. And we are not going to sew across. And here again is the inside. And we're going to leave, again, about the same amount of space. And we are not going to sew across. But on the outside, again, we will come all the way around and sew all the way up. So now we're going to take our hobo purse. Okay, we have to get our handles pulled out. So I'm taking my bone folder to help me push my handles out. So, okay, right along. Here's our handles. So, as you see, we have an opening here. And so we are going to put our right sides together. And we're going to pin. And we're matching our seam here. And then we will sew these across. And I will do both sides. And then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So I've got my 2 pieces pinned, and I'm going to go to the machine and sew across here and seal this up. And so while we're at the sewing machine, we're going to go ahead and seal up our bottom. And again, do the same thing, match our seams, get it pinned, and then we'll sew it up, and then we will be finished.